meeting of the Richmond Board of Education will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sandy, if you could please read our mission and vision statement and take roll call.
Yep, the mission statement here at Richmond is, at Richmond Community Schools, we provide a quality education that empowers students to be successful in a global community. Our vision statement is to foster a culture of academic excellence, creativity, and character, ensuring that all students are prepared for success in an ever-changing world. And then I will do roll call. Board Member Cunningham.
Here.
Board Member Gillis.
Here.
Board Member Bashan.
Here.
Board Member Steyer.
Here.
Board Member Sutton.
Here.
Board Member Telto.
Here.
I am Board Member Fortuna. I am here. We do have a quorum, and our student representative Elizabeth Schaefer is going to be late with notice, but we do have Kelsey McNair here.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is the approval of our agenda. I am going to amend the agenda. I am going to add an item D under the action items for the correction of our board calendar. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Is it item 13D? Is that what you're making?
Yes, 13D.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Oops, I'm sorry. This is a roll call vote. Candace? Margaret?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. I really messed that one up, but I'll try to fix it the next time. Let's see, it was Margaret. Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Support. Okay, that was a tie. I'm going to give it to Candace. You're okay? Candace. Okay, I'm willing to share.
Regarding the personnel reports, we did not have any layoffs, new hires, or recalls. We did have resignation, Randy Wilson, a preschool teacher at Little Elementary. And we had a retirement, Hamlin Tansky from the Transportation Department. We had two terminations, Nadia Brown from Child Care and Vivian Nelsevich from also hiring Jacob DePrez as the 7th grade boys basketball coach. There were no questions regarding the personnel report, the board minutes from December 8th, 4/18 or January 5th. And nothing on the district head count and full-time FTE count, and also nothing on the December claims and accounts.
Anyone have any further questions?
Yeah, so the mechanic, is that the one that's like been here forever? And that's not.
No, so that's, no, this one was one that we had, it was actually split between ours
Oh,
and
so there's a part-time.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's all.
Any other questions? Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Margaret? Aye. Candace?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Raymond?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. Next item on our agenda is our elementary school course catalog presentation.
And I will invite Principal Amy up to help talk about our brand new elementary course description guide. Just give me 1 second, and I'll pull it up on the screen so that board members can see it. Okay.
Well, I can give you a background as it's getting pulled up. So the idea and thought behind this was really just the brain baby of that we really publicize with the middle school and high school students, their opportunities, what they're going to be learning through kind of courses and things like that. So this was an opportunity for our parents to see course descriptions, although like it's standards-based, you can't necessarily pick where your kid's at, but you can at least know what your child's going to be learning throughout their trajectory at the elementary. So if you're thinking, you're a preschool parent, you're thinking about like kindergarten preparedness or readiness, you can go on here and say, okay, these are the ideas conceptually that my child's going to be learning, you know, because we all kind of want to know, what can I help with? You know, you might jump on if you have a second grader and see like your child's going to be learning in science, you know, sand, salt, and silt, you know, and that's something that interests them. And it's just a way to get parents involved, but also for kind of the whole team and everybody across the board to know what our kids are learning at the elementary level. So you'll see that we break it down on different, the different bands. So like for kindergarten, we're going to talk about phonics, our ELA curriculum, math, science, social studies, writing, and it kind of goes through all of that. What's kind of neat is you can kind of see how there's a progression. So as you look at kindergarten, you can kind of see the difference of where they start and then where we're going to keep heading. So that is the thought behind that. So we have our curriculums listed, the focus concepts, obviously it's not everything, but it gives you kind of the big picture ideas of what students will be learning, the broad topics.
Repeated grade by grade, so I want to make you seasick scrolling through every.
We do also, we did add specials on there because that's just as important as everything else with the arts and the music and physical education, so that's on there. Also our Title I program, we highlight some of our character education, like we do our moral focus assemblies where kids get recognized, you know, for kindness or gratitude, respectfulness, whatever our focus is. So we talk a little bit about that because I've seen feedback too out there that people aren't familiar like with what we do with PBIS, so it was a way to say these are assemblies, this is what we do. We focus on a character every month and kids get recognized for that, so that's in here. And I think that's just a kind of a big picture of what we do.
And so again, in you know, sort of where this came from. So with our, it's kind of funny, one of those things, with our pupil accounting that we have to do every year, and so that pupil account, I mean, there's obviously a plethora of paperwork that goes with that. They have always required something of this nature to be turned in with that pupil accounting, right? So there, you know, it's just something that's kind of an overview, quick summary of what your elementary offers. Of course, we have the secondary course guide that goes to stand for that part for secondary. But it really just, you know, it was kind of one of those like, we have to have this. We're kind of putting together something just kind of to check the box at all these years. And it really just, I think, we got inspired this year and thought, you know what, let's really make this a real document, something that really truly shows and highlights all the great things that are going on in our elementary school. And so it was, you know, again, one of those sort of, okay, we have to do it for compliance, but let's go above and beyond that, and let's really make this something that we can really showcase. And we're so proud of how it turned out.
And hopefully we'll add to it throughout the years as it goes on. So, any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Okay,
Thank you very much. Okay, next item on our agenda is our discussion for the contract for the superintendent search. I'm going to start off just a little bit here, and then I'm going to let everyone have a say or a talk about what they felt as far as that went. So our goal tonight is to have a thoughtful, transparent, and respectful discussion. It's important that each board member has an opportunity to share their perspectives and priorities regarding this contract. As we proceed, I ask that we remain focused on what is in the best interest of our students, staff, and community, and listen carefully to one another. I will recognize each board member in turn so that everyone has an opportunity to speak. I've also added Kelsey in our popsicle stick selection here because she also talked with both of the candidates as they were waiting to come and speak to us. So that would give us perspective from a high school student. So going with the popsicle sticks, the first one up is Sarah. Sorry, Sarah. I mixed them.
Well, luckily I'm opinionated, so I have. Okay, if I were choosing one today, I would choose Michigan Leadership Institute. That was our second presentation. I liked his presentation a lot. I like that everybody there is the former superintendent. I feel as though the presentation did come across a little bit more structured and maybe professional, and I did appreciate that. I liked the first gentleman very much. I think he was a very sweet gentleman. I have nothing bad to say about MASB. I just feel like I tend to be more of a polished, structured, like that vibe kind of sits well with me, and I feel like he did that. I love the wealth of knowledge and years of experience that his team is bringing. And I liked the mentorship program too, that I felt like that MASB didn't offer or didn't highlight, I don't know. But I liked that there was that year of mentorship also that was included. I believe they were also a little bit cheaper, not that that matters when you're spending that much money. I feel like you get what's right, but that's what I would choose.
Okay. Next, school stick, Sandy.
Yeah, could we have the microphone so we can hear, but
Okay, so,
I'm having,
okay, please make sure, Laura, that you use your microphone. Thank you. Sorry about that.
sorry.
So right now, as the way everything stands, I would agree with Sarah. There was a couple of things with Michigan leadership that stood out to me. The first one being that this was their only job, where at MASB they had another full-time job. So this would be like, obviously this is what they do. The fact that they were, past superintendents. And I also basically we got a guarantee. If they don't stay after a year, they come back and do it for free. So I like that too. Along with some of the other things that Sarah mentioned, but I'm not gonna, those are just the different things, I guess.
Raymond?
During the last presentation, I had a takeaway from both presentations there. Regarding the Michigan Leadership Institute, some of the things that were mentioned was that they develop their own candidates. And let's see, and with the information that they provided on page 4, paragraph 7, says the Michigan Leadership Institute values and practices diversity, equity, and inclusion in our organization, our professional development opportunities, and search practices. And they also, on page 3, paragraph 8, they said, quote, we intentionally support all leaders with a strong focus on lifting and empowering leaders of color, female leaders, and individuals from historically underrepresented groups. And when we were talking about the planning and preparing stage and whatnot, on page 6, bullet 4, it states, quote, consult with the Board of Education and the constituents as determined by the board to gather input regarding organization and leadership needs. This step may include forums with staff, community members, and others. When I asked, what some of that included, the presenter also said that part of the consideration is asking feedback from the children, which I think a decision of this magnitude or importance shouldn't be decided on by the children. Children being children, they may not necessarily have the capacity or the maturity to make these types of decisions. And it just seems like the Michigan Leadership Institute is centered around a lot of DEI, which, from the presidential executive orders that were issued last year, it was to remove DEI from governmental hiring practices through the federal and state governments. And that company seems very DEI-centric. Also, when it says it develops their own candidates, this is what they're teaching to their candidates. And they said that 25% of the superintendents that are hired through them received that training. I thought that the MASB, I liked what they had to say in their proposed search plan. Week 1, page 6, paragraph 3 of their presentation I quote, "MASB will work with the Board of Education to establish a timeline for the search, development of," or, as you were, so let me start all over. MASB will work with the Board of Education to establish a timeline for the search and develop a plan for stakeholder engagement. I like the fact that stakeholder engagement, they include the community into that. And on the next stage, which is a preparation of, which would be about the 2 to 3 week mark, it says MASB will implement the stakeholder agreement plan. And it said this includes conducting focused conversations with stakeholder groups, collecting perceptual data via the online survey collector, and educating stakeholders about the search process as well as mechanisms for input prior to the selection of a candidate. So I like the fact that they're willing to have the community show up and provide them, educate the community as well as part of this process. And that they said, qualified prospects will be based in part on the recommendations from the stakeholders. I think that's really important to get the community's input in there, whereas the MLI said that they may incorporate that. And so throughout the packet for the MASB, the information refers to finding the most qualified candidates based off of the most qualified. And that's based off the search criteria provided by the board and the stakeholders. So I would be of the opinion that MASB would be the best way to go.
Thank you. Danielle?
I personally really liked, like Sarah said, I'm a big structure person, so I really liked the Michigan Leadership Institute a lot, and how structured it was, in the fact that he comes with a timeline that's already kind of pre-made but flexible for us to make our own decisions with, where the MASB, I felt like it was just like, all right, here you go, like, yes, he's going to guide us, but it was more like nonchalant and not very structured. Obviously they're going to guide us as what we're paying them to do, but I don't feel like just by his presentation, it would be too laid back for such an important decision. So I liked that he was coming with so much structure to the program, kind of on the opposite end of Ray. So I liked the fact that they did include students in that decision-making process, because, I mean, we include them in our board, why wouldn't we include them in our decision to have an opinion who we're going to choose? Obviously, they can't hold all the weight, but they still hold some weight, so I feel like that's important. There was one other thing. I was trying to put it in the search bar, so I didn't remember.
Okay. Candace?
Yeah, so I agree with everyone regarding the Michigan Leadership Institute coming in and appearing to be a little more prepared, and having, their whole presentation was very spelled out. I do agree with Ray on one thing though, and the one thing that when I read my presentations, I read the MASB before I read I read the other one first, the Michigan Leadership. And it's all seemed very strategic, everything just perfect. But then when I read the MASB, within the first paragraph, it really talked about the community engagement as being a huge prime focus on, what the whole, and I agree with that. And they had that part actually much more detailed. That was the one area in which the presentation was very calculated. And with the staff, that was huge. that they were gonna have multiple meetings with the staff. So to me, when I think of a community school district, I think of that. And it shaped not just us 7 up here, but everybody. So I would lean more towards the MASB for that reason. But I did like the presentation of Michigan leadership. I do feel that they came in a little bit more prepared. But I would be leaning more towards the MASB just because of the different surveys and the details of how they were going to get community involvement.
Thank you. Kelsey, you ready? I'm sorry.
I can remember.
Stop.
No. No, one thing I wanted to say that I didn't like though about the Michigan Leadership Institute was I felt like when he was talking, he kept talking about kind of like Ray was mentioning of picking the candidates or growing their own candidates with the SOUPS program or using that SOUPS program, but like, or his connections to the community. I get that that's a recruiting technique and obviously you don't have to pick those people, but I feel like what if what he sees as what we need is not what we want for our community and he's choosing these people or inviting these people to apply who may or may not be what we want, and then we have all these people who, like he's persuaded people who we don't really want there. And I guess, yeah, we can go back to the drawing board if we don't like anybody and start all over again, but do we really want to do that? Especially with all the announcements that came after our presentations of local districts and things. And, you know, like, do we want to redo the whole thing for another 12 weeks if we don't like the candidates? So I didn't like that. Yes, it might give us a bigger candidate pool, but I don't like that he put kind of what I felt was a lot of emphasis on being able to grab more candidates because of his connections.
Okay, Kelsey, you ready?
The first company I didn't get to hear from, so just keep that in mind. But I did really enjoy John with the Michigan Leader Institute. When I was in his fields out in the lobby, it felt like it was really easy to have and hold a conversation with him, very easy to communicate with him. And for his presentation, I felt like it was very clear what their mission is. Like I felt like I knew from the get-go what we were going to get into. And that one slide where it went week by week, I felt like it was beautifully executed, and he did mention all the bumps in the road we could have and that he has occurred, but I felt like he gave peace of mind when he told us how he dealt with it before, and how they kind of overcame that as a school. And I felt like if I was choosing a company, that was something I would want. Like, you're honest up front. Like, it's not going to be, we'll find you the perfect candidate, like, first day. I feel like he was very honest on what is to come, and it was very nice.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Margaret, you're my last question, sir.
Yeah, I key on what Sarah said about the professionalism very much. And I have worked with both companies, obviously. And with respect to Michigan leadership, and I said it a couple times when the interviews were going on, that everyone has to remember that whatever they do for us in the process is what we are telling them to do. So when he's talking about the candidate, when Michigan leadership is talking about the candidate and the recruiting and what they know, they're going based on, we're going to put together the candidate that we want for superintendent. So they're going to go out and look for us and give us those types of candidates. Where if you listen to MASB, he said, we're going to get just every applicant that ever is going to apply, good, bad, or otherwise. In my mind, I don't want good, bad, or otherwise. I want candidates that we have put together that we're looking for, right? And that's what they're doing. And their process and all of that is based on. And as far as community involvement and all of that, again, and whatever it said in the proposal may happen. It may happen because there may be boards that don't want community involvement, that they don't want surveys. Why wouldn't we want that? We've always done that when we search for a superintendent. So they will do whatever we want them to do. This Michigan Leadership is a great company, and I agree, extremely professional. They took us step by step. No one on this, sitting at this table has done this but me. He presented, he's going to guide us through it the best of the two companies, in my opinion.
Thank you. Okay, so my thoughts, I took some time with this. I am choosing Michigan Leadership, and the reason, number one for me is when he walked in here, he was dressed professionally. That sent a message. I know we're not supposed to look at it, the dress isn't supposed to be it, but I'm sorry, for me, that means he respects what he's doing. He is going to represent us at meetings. I would want and expect that kind of demonstration in attire. He does not have another job. His job is strictly researching or doing the job for us, whereas Scott actually has another full-time job outside of doing this. So I would be concerned about his intent or capabilities or even calendar or time that we could make it work. I agree with the comment Margaret made about, Scott mentioned that we would be looking at every applicant. I too agree. I do not want to look at every applicant. Why are we hiring a search group to do that? That is their job to, and again, we are going to put together that profile of what we are looking for. And that's how they determine who they're going to pick. I don't want to look at all of them. I want to look at who are the top people that match our profile. I do agree with the community service piece. However, I don't feel that that's the total piece. I want to hear from our staff. I want to hear from, and I mean everybody, from janitors to our secretarial, to our administrators, to counselors, whoever. This is a community. The community is just not the people outside, but the ones that are inside of this district. And I believe, from what I heard, that they would do that. And I go back to say, it is our choice and our decision. Just so you know, because it wasn't mentioned, MASB also provides superintendent training. Also, when I communicated with MASB, I was given Scott's name, and the person told me that Scott would reach out to me, and that was on November 24th. I did not hear anything until December 15th. Actually, on December 15th, I reached back out to MASB to let the person know that I contacted, that I had not heard from Scott. And I was just getting a little nervous and wanted to make sure everything was set because we were going into the Christmas holidays and things. He apologized and said that Scott would get back to me. He finally did get back with me on December 19th. So that was, 4 days later. I have a concern on, even if he just had sent me an email to say, hey, I gotcha, we're on, it's on my calendar, we're good, I'll get back with you, blah, 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 blah. I felt like I should not, a month later, have gotten back to my contact. So I have a concern about that. I also noted that John commented on our district. He did his homework. A good interviewer, and all of you should know if you interview, does his research. They check out the district, and he made a point to talk about our district. He did his homework. That was big for me. My bottom statement here is that no matter who we choose, we have to remember that it is our choice, our decisions, who we interview, who we do surveys to. So whoever we choose, I think that needs to be stressed, that it is our choice and our decision.
Can I just say one more thing?
I'll let
Real quick, please.
Danielle do it, so I'll let you.
Thank you. And the thing about the children choosing, his comment, he didn't say children, he talked about high school students. And I think the reason that John from Michigan Leadership said that is because he had conversation with Kelsey. And I agree with Danielle. We have students that sit at the board table with us, and we've done it for years, so we do value their opinion. So why wouldn't we value their opinion in our search process? They can't vote, but their opinion, and high school students do have an opinion on what's going on in their school system. So I appreciated that he made that point about high school students.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we will, when we get to our action items, we will have our vote. If there was any additional discussion, we'll do it at that point. Next item on our agenda is our blue double rates. Oh, let me mix up the popsicle sticks again. Okay, here we go. First one. Sarah, yours is first. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to mix it. I thought I mixed it.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, go Sarah.
Okay, so I was able to go to cheer comps this week, 2 of them, and it was very fun. I don't want to ruin the student rep report, but we did very good. And great, I think it's just going to be a great season. So those were fun, and I went to my very first powerlifting meet, saw Kelsey there. And it was very, way cooler. I don't know what I expected. I wasn't really sure, but it was very cool. Very long day though. We didn't stay the whole time because I had somewhere to be, but I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. And we went, and it was my kids came with me, and it was very cool. So what a neat program. My son was already instantly, because he's only in 7th grade, hoping or wishing that there was a 7th grade team, because he would have joined right then and there. He would have jumped on the mat and started lifting weights right there. If he could, but it was very cool. So 2 great programs.
Thank you.
Yes.
Margaret.
No.
Okay. Sandy.
So just real quick, want to read that our student representative Elizabeth Schaefer and another student, Margaret Gasquire, actually, they are advancing to states in DECA. So congratulations to them, and that's awesome.
Okay. Candace.
I'm actually good. I was gonna just say congratulations to the cheerleaders. I watched so much energy just watching the video. I was after. So congratulations to them. That was great.
Danielle.
I'm good.
Raymond.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Okay. I too went to the cheer competition. I went to Wednesday nights. All I have to say is their 3rd round was awesome. I appreciate, I'm not sure who runs the meet. I believe Kelly, our coach, is part of it. I don't know if Preston has a part, but it ran smooth. There were no problems, no disruptions. It was just a well-run event. So I just want to put out, cheers to both of them and what they do. It's, again, a great program. Okay, next item on our agenda is our student board of rep. Kelsey, you're on.
Just going a little bit. For our Lee school, we have preschools off and running in 2026. This month we're focusing on the topic of honesty for PBIS assembly. The importance of being honest will be discussed with students, and several students will be rewarded with true blue awards for being reliable and honest in the classroom. Professional Development Day for preschool staff will take place on Monday, January 19th. A speaker from the MISD will be coming in to work with our teachers on how to handle challenging behaviors and learn about the new behavior intervention framework. NWEA testing has begun at the elementary. Teachers will be dissecting this data at the February professional development to create specific learning tasks or tracks for every student. Happy learning. Middle school, Happy New Year from RMS. We're looking forward to another great semester. 4th and 5th grade students will take the IXL benchmark assessment to check for growth and to help in determining our intervention groups. 4th through 8th grades will take the mid-year NWAA beginning after Martin Luther King Jr. On January 19th, RMS teachers will participate in district-provided professional development with a significant amount of time working on standard-based grading learning. Boys basketball begins on Monday, January 19th, with their first game at 4:30 at Inwood City. We look forward to hosting our first game against Armada at 4:30 on January 21st. For high school, snow coming is on the way, and this theme is Stranger Things, like the TV show. Dance tickets are on sale Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. They cost $15, and students must have completed a dance contract on file to purchase tickets. We have Spirit Week this week with fun days like Babies Day and Fun Teacher Day. Pep Assembly this Friday. Basketball games are on Friday night. Dance is Saturday from 7 to 9:30 p.m. with walk-in times from 7:30 to 9. Robotics, Quiz Bowl, DECA, and Science Olympiad all started after the first of the year. We're excited to be starting both Quiz Bowl and Science Olympiad again, and are thankful to our teacher advisors for all of these groups. Athletics. Friday was a great day to be a Blue Devil. Boys and girls varsity basketball went to Almanac and earned wins. Varsity cheer hosted the Richmond Invitational and came away with the first place finish, topping their score from Wednesday that gave them a win in BWAC Jamboree #1. Girls powerlifting got second runner-up at their first meet in Mayo. Middle school boys basketball and competitive cheer completed tryouts last week and will begin competing next week. Bowling has 2 home matches this week. Today they play Yale, and Wednesday they will host Armada at Strikers 3:15 start time. Friday is snow coming at RHS. The high school boys and girls basketball teams will all be home against North Branch. 4:30, the freshman boys will play at RMS and the JV girls at RHS. 6 o'clock, JV boys at RMS and varsity girls at RHS, and 7:30 boys varsity at RHS.
Anyone have any questions for policy? Thank you very much. Okay, next item on our agenda is interim superintendent update.
All right, thank you, Member Sean. So I want to start with another update on 31AA. As the group knows, we did turn that down, so the process was completed over the holiday break there on December 30th. We did rescind our opt-in, and so we are no longer. But just an update on kind of what that means, where we stand, where is everything. So the Court of Appeals ultimately denied the plaintiff's request to make a decision by December 30th, which was why we had to rescind. But they did grant an expedited briefing schedule. So the state is expected to provide a response by January 19th, with briefing potentially completed by January 26th. And then if that goes through, we would be on the first available case call, which they anticipate would be early February. All of that, it is hard to say if anything will change. If it goes through this appeal process, will that open the funds back up to us? Will they repeal that language as far as giving up our attorney-client privilege? It is very hard to say at this point. Of course, if nothing does change, then we stay where we are and we've given up that money. But of course, as things develop, I will bring that to the board as quickly as possible if there is any opportunity for us to remove any funds based on how this litigation goes. So I will keep everyone posted. Did want to mention that, I'm not sure if everyone is aware, Algonac was removed from the BWAC. They ended up joining the MAC Athletic Association as of this year. And so with that opening, the only school that really applied was Lutheran Northern. So there's been a number of meetings, visits, site visits. Each of the districts in the BWAC have been involved in part of that conversation. So ultimately, the final decision will be made next Tuesday afternoon. Summit will be held with all superintendents, high school principals, and athletic directors from each of the current BWAC schools. So myself, Ms. Sabo, and Mr. Trent will be there to cast. We get one single vote from the district. So I will certainly let the board know as soon as that decision has been made.
So only one school applied to join. So if the BWAC doesn't vote them in,
then we would get a short
team from
schedule
here,
here.
you just do schedule.
Yeah, that would happen, yeah.
Do you know the answer to the question of why only one team, like how that?
It might be
Because, there was talk that there were a
Right,
couple
it might
different
be
schools.
timing of when it came down and, they may have gotten kind of talked into say, hard to say, I don't know exactly why. I can ask that question and see if Preston has more information. I'm kind of coming on the back end, of course, of some of the conversations and decisions that were made. But yeah, I can't say exactly why, but this is what I'm looking at right now, so. And quick bond update, not too much new, we're still kind of just in a waiting pattern. So keeping in mind that we did submit the ballot language to the Treasury office before the first of the year. They have technically until January 30th to give us a yes or no. We did not change the language at all from the first ballot language to this one, so we were hoping it would be a quick turnaround. So still keeping fingers crossed that they are able to give us that approval before our next regularly scheduled board meeting on the 26th, so that I can bring that for approval from the board. I will have to look closely at the timeline. If we don't get it until that last minute, the 30th, we may potentially have to do a special meeting to approve it to stay in line with our timeline. But again, I'm very, from the get-go, they've been very confident that they were going to get the response very quickly. So I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard yet. But I'm feeling still good that we'll hear by the 26th, and hopefully I will be able to bring that to you. Coming up, I just want to mention this, but I will follow up with an email to get a final who wants to come. But on February 6th, we have the McTee breakfast. So that is the CTE breakfast at the MISD, where they honor all of the business partners and then also the students that have reached certain awards in certain categories within their CTE programs. So each district is allowed to bring a total of 13 guests. So of course we have to make sure that all of our business partners and students and their families are included that need to be. So it looks like we would have a seat for 2 board members at that breakfast on February 6th. So just wanted to put that bug in your ear. And like I said, I will follow up with an email just to find out who would be interested and available to go. But we would love for you to, all of you to be able to join us that day. And lastly, I look forward to our meeting on the 26th to workshop and kind of work out some of these ongoing little logistics and little transitions and new things as we head into this next chapter and as we go into this year. So thank you.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, next item on our agenda is our items of interest from the board. This time, Raymond, you get to start.
Nothing this morning, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for reminding us. Candace? No, okay. Danielle?
I'm good.
Okay. Sarah?
I just had one question, it's kind of more of a follow-up. I know earlier in the school year, we had a presentation on the standards-based grading. And I know we had talked about some of the limitations and maybe the downfalls of it with our 8th graders, especially because it's not adequately preparing them for 9th grade and that transition. And I know at the time during the presentation, it's something you said you guys were looking at. So I was just hoping maybe we could get an update on that at some point. Because if we are going to make any sort of modifications, even if it's an overlap for that year, I feel like getting that information to parents and preparing them before it's too late in the year is going to be beneficial.
Yeah, definitely still on the front burner, so we'll have something soon. Thank you.
Okay. Margaret?
Just wanted to let the board know that the stages that were being made for the teachers for the classrooms from the Ron Clark Academy, they were completed and they were delivered to the teachers' classrooms last Wednesday. So they, 10 of them were made, going to nine teachers. One teacher has 2 classrooms, so they got 2. So they've got them and they're using them. So maybe you wanted to let me know.
Get some
They're
pictures
good to
or
go.
video.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said if we could get some pictures or video.
Yeah,
That would be neat to see.
They've already gotten a few, I'll share those.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, Sandy?
No, thank you.
Okay, and I do not have anything either. Okay, next item on our agenda is public comments. Since the last board meeting, the board did not receive any emails, and there were no public comments that needed addressing from the last board meeting. And At this time, any member of the public will have 3 minutes to address the board. Please sign in and state your name. If you wish a follow-up, please provide contact information on the public comment signage. Are there any public comments?
So I did email you last week, Monday. I did, asking for information regarding what you guys went over. I didn't hear anything back from you. And then also, you stated that the first guy didn't dress properly for your meeting on Monday. We have no dress code here. Our students don't dress the way that you would think was professional either, so I just wanted to make that known.
I will check, but I do not recall getting an email, so I'm going to need to find out.
Sure. And then you can email me that.
Sure, yeah, I will as soon as I find out where we went or what happened.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other public comments? Okay, next item on our agenda is our action items. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of a 2026-27 middle school, high school course catalog.
I move to accept the recommendation of the interim superintendent and approve the 2026-2027 middle school and high school course catalog as presented and discussed at the December 8, 2025 Board of Education meeting.
Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Candace?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the change to Board Policy 3118, Title IX, Sexual Harassment.
I move to accept the recommendation of the interim superintendent and approve the changes to Board Policy 3118, Title IX, Sexual Harassment as outlined in the attached documentation.
Do I have support? Support. Any discussion? Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Candace?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of a superintendent search contract.
I motion to approve the superintendent search contract with Michigan Leadership Institute as outlined in the attached documentation.
Support.
Any discussion?
I just wanted to say, I wrote it down. I appreciated the student feedback of how she mentioned how, I didn't even think of it at the moment, but how he highlighted where things could go wrong, right, and what he did to pivot and make things right, or how to counteract those things, because not everything is sunshine and rainbows. So I appreciate Kelsey pointing that out, and I thought that was really good feedback.
And I just wanted to say too, I did appreciate everyone's feedback that went around. I did note the concerns about the Soups Academy. I guess it didn't concern me as much because we don't have to pick somebody. To me, it doesn't matter if somebody's gone through it or not. If I like the way they interview, I'm going to choose somebody because of that. If I think they're going to be a good fit and their goals align with what we say that we want. The Soups Academy for me wasn't really an issue because at the end of the day, it doesn't determine if we are hiring them or not. So that wasn't a huge hang up for me at all. And I think it only benefits him to find somebody that's going to meet our needs because there is that guarantee. So it doesn't benefit him at all to push a candidate on us. And I think the 7 of us are very smart. We are intelligent people. We can read people well. And I don't think we're going to just be swindled by him pushing some guy or pushing some agenda on us or female. I think we're going to make the best interest because I don't think anybody sitting at this table is a pushover. I'm just going to say that. We all have our opinions, and I don't think anyone's going to come in and just sell us on a candidate because they groomed this person into the role. So I don't have any concerns about that. He also comes from Marysville. It's a local-ish district for us. I think that in some ways it's that rural kind of counterpart. I know it's a different county, but I feel like that might match up well. My whole family lives in Marysville. I know the school very well. And I feel like there is a lot that would align there. So I think, yeah, I'm not really worried about Supes Academy. I feel like he's a good pairing for us to be looking for us. And I did appreciate everything he brought. So that's my take.
And I agree with you. And again, he's not going to push a candidate on us. That's not what his job is. His job is to take what we say we want in a candidate and bring us those candidates. It's not pushing a candidate on us. We're picking the candidate based on the qualifications we want, and those are the candidates that he will bring to us.
Anyone else have any other comments or anything they'd like to say? Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Sarah?
Aye.
Margaret?
Aye.
Candace?
Nay.
Sandy? Aye. Raymond?
Just to clarify, because I'm looking at what's on it's just to do the contract. This isn't which specific one, right?
Yes,
The vote.
yes,
This is us picking.
yes, we're picking Michigan leadership. That's what the vote is.
So I'm
All right,
motion ready to
Nay.
have Michigan leadership.
You already did the motion.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I motioned for that.
No, she said I made the motion
Okay, all
for
right.
Michigan leadership.
Okay, nay.
Okay. Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. Okay, I'm looking for a motion for the approval of a revised date, place, and time for our regular board meeting.
I move to approve the revised Board of Education meeting calendar to include Monday, March 23rd, 2026, as an established meeting day at 7 p.m. in the Media Center of Richmond High School, or virtually as allowed by law, as the regular meeting of the Board of Education of Richmond Community Schools, unless otherwise indicated on the attached documentation.
Do I have support? Support. Thank you, Candace. Any discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Candace? Sandy?
Aye.
Raymond?
All right.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. Looking for a motion to go into closed session.
Pursuant to MCL 15.268, Section 8C of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, I move that the Board of Education go into closed session for the purposes of negotiations.
Support. Thank you. Any discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
Candace? Sandy? Aye. Raymond?
All right.
Sarah?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. Just for our audience here, we'll be coming back and all we'll be doing is adjourned.